Hello all. I am heading out to pick up first a shirt that I ordered for my granddaughter for the 100th day of school, which is Friday, and it is ready. So I'm gonna go pick that up and then do some food shopping. I'm gonna keep myself to under $100. Gonna try to do a lot of veggies, I'm gonna try a tofu marinade and a risotto, a veggie risotto. I'm leaving out the tomatoes because tomatoes just don't sit so well in my stomach. But I'm gonna wonder if I start eating healthier, more plant-based, if my stomach is better with tomatoes. We'll see. I'll let you know. I mean, I'm just starting on this journey. So I'm already in my workout clothes. Sports bra on, I know, TMI. But I don't know what time the gym closes today. I don't know if it's different hours, but I'm gonna call after I get put the left blinker on. I'm going right. Today I want to talk about, because this has happened to me, and I don't know that he doesn't love me, but he's with someone else now. So there's someone I met, and we were at different places in our lives at the time, and he could never say goodbye. I mean, I met him for dinner, great conversation, wanted to see me again, and then he's like, I can't do this. You're trying too hard to have a relationship and all that. At the time, I'm thinking, what? Like, isn't this the way it goes? You meet someone, you click, you hit it off, and that's how it was with like, I've only been really in long-term relationships. So, that being said, that's all I knew how, number one. Number two, my ex said, you're never going to find anybody. No one's going to want to be with you. Yes, very mean. That's the way he was. People didn't know actually how he was until I informed them how he was. And of course he wouldn't say these things in front of other people, but I really I was excited for it. He was a great guy, gentleman, kiss on the cheek, a hug and a kiss on the cheek after meeting the first time. And what I didn't know, he was trying to get over someone else. And there was someone he met that he decided he just wanted to be friends with. But in me being too anxious which I know now, and I'm even reading this book, The Rules, I was acting way too needy. I know that now, but I was just starting the process. So this is 2011. And then I met Frank. And at first I thought Frank was like me. We wanted to be. We hit it off, which I was not expecting. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just gonna go out, find someone to go to dinner with, not get attached, not get so invested. And I met Frank. I couldn't let go of the other guy. We were friends. We didn't see each other. We just were text all the time, talked about anything and everything. And he was like my best friend, but my best phone friend. because, like I said, we didn't see each other. We just text and talked on the phone and had such long conversations. And it was less talking on the phone and more texting with Frank, because the more Frank and I got involved. And Frank totally flipped out the one time. He's like, I can't believe this. You're still talking to him. I feel like you. And I really loved Frank. And I didn't think at this time when I'm with Frank, I don't think of this guy any more than a friend. And I had, growing up, this male friend, and we were best friends, shared everything. We tried dating. We decided we were better friends. And that's how I looked at this guy. And I told him about my friend that passed away, and that I missed that I could talk to him and he could give me a guy's perspective and everything. And I said, he always said that he would be there for me. If he couldn't, he'd send someone to be there for me. And he passed away way too young, a month shy of his 31st birthday, which was devastating for me. I couldn't breathe. I thought it was a joke, because he died on April 1st, and him and I would always try to get each other for April Fools. Well, not a joke, and very real, and devastating. So when this guy came to my life, and he kind of, he's like, oh, you're trying too hard, whatever. And then, I was still like upset. I still felt like, oh, I could have something with this guy. But then I met Frank, and I put him in the friend zone, or so I thought. And then Frank met somebody, and she was just strictly a friend, and all this. And he said, I get it now. I really get it. And I said, oh, okay, good. And he's like, told me the whole story of her and everything. Her and I now are best of friends. And Frank, I gave him permission. I knew something was after his mom, and I'm like, I think you need to date more, because I was like, really, he hadn't dated much. I mean, he focused on raising his son, and then himself, and then once he lost 140 pounds before he met me. I know, long story. So when Frank wanted to see other people, this guy breaks up with the girl that he was seeing at the time, and we go to dinner, and I'm thinking he's trying to be a friend, because Frank, and Frank's doing his thing, and I didn't want to see anybody else, I told him. And I'm like, and so I'm thinking he's being a friend, and he takes me to dinner. He's like, oh, I want to take you to dinner and everything. And then we're talking, sitting in my driveway. Next thing you know, we're kissing. And I know this sounds like crazy and ridiculous, but I don't even know how that happened. It's like, 1 minute we're talking, and my friend's like, what do you mean you don't know how that happened? And I was like, I seriously do not know how we went from, nice blinker, idiot, sorry. I don't know how we went from 1 minute talking to the next, like, I don't know how it happened. And I feel stupid saying that, but I honestly do not know how that happened. I really don't. That's a pretty big house in the middle of all these like average homes. That's okay, sorry. So, I really, that might have been my street. No, I don't think so. So I honestly don't. And that was only shortly before Frank died. And I don't know if I shared this before. Hastings, is this it? I don't think so. I think it's Thomas. I'm trying to do this without GPS because I'm really not so paying attention because I'm talking to you guys. I mean, I'm paying attention to the road and stuff, but I'm not paying attention to where I am. No, I am so lost, but it's fine. I got plenty of time. I told her 15-20 minutes, and guess what? It's only been about 10. So I have to get out of here. And it's Thomas, I think. But so I don't know if I ever shared this, but Frank killed himself. He was abused, severely abused by his stepfather. I mean, sexually, physically. He was locked in the basement for days at a time, and really horribly abused. And I just can't imagine going through that. I really can't, as a person. And I don't think I'm on the right street, but whatever. I can't imagine a child going through that and then into adulthood. It's just horrifying to me, the things that I found out after he died. And it was after his mom passed away that I found these things out. And he worshipped the ground his mother walked on. Oh my God. I could not believe. I'm so lost. I could not believe, really could not believe how he worshipped his mother. Like she was so high on this pedestal and she allowed this to happen. He would say stuff to his mother like, and he fought back when he was like 16. And his mother is like, this man, supports you. He's your father because his father died when he was 3 months old of cancer and all this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no, like, God, how dare you say these things? Like, I could not believe a mother would say these things or would allow these things to happen. She knew he was being locked in the basement for days. Like, I just can't. I just can't imagine being that child and being locked in a basement to have to pee and shit yourself. No food. Like, I really don't know how a parent allows that to happen. I'm back at a main road here. I don't know if this is the road that I normally come down. Nope. Shit. Sorry. I'm gonna have to go back this way, I think. Yeah. I don't know. So I just don't know, as a parent, how you allow that to happen. So, off subject a little bit, but just so you know. So Frank kills himself, and he calls me, and he wants to know if I'm okay. And he was saying, like, the girl he broke up with and all this stuff. And then him and I talk, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to be there for me in more ways than one. Like, this is it. We're on our way. I think this is the main street here. Oh, Lord. And I went down too far. Oh, God, that's a huge dog. So then he felt it wasn't the right time. I was grieving. Okay, I get it. You're right. I'm grieving. So, yes. I'm not ready for a relationship. But I didn't know. Well, he's then in a relationship. And I'm sad. Very sad. Because I am like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, is this the Thomas? Ah, I did pass the street. I really, really thought this was him and I. Okay. But didn't happen. Did not happen. And I'm just going to pull over so I can finish this video because I'm still early. So, not going to happen. So, I'm then grieving Frank and heartbroken that he felt, I wasn't ready, which I probably wasn't, but I thought he'd be there for me. Then, he, when I was ready to date again, I meet this guy, Steven, and then I see him and the current girlfriend, and drove him nuts. He's like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. Oh my God, you look great. He's texting me, and knowing I'm with, Steven. And so then he's like, wants to go to lunch for Valentine's Day. So Steven's working. We were going to go somewhere after he got out of work. And I meet him for lunch. And he's like, let's go to Atlantic City for the weekend. And I was like, what? I go, okay. I didn't think he was serious. And what's this car doing pulling up behind me? So I turned around and I was like, okay. And so then he's like, no, get your phone out, your calendar, and let's figure it out. And he's like, you can't do this, can't do that, blah, 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 blah. We were going to do a Friday into a Saturday. We had it planned, everything. And I'm thinking, I'm crazy. Like, Steven and I at this point were kind of on the outs. And going towards, this is when we were talking about, should we, find a place together and all this. And he's like, we should split it 4 ways, the rent, the bills, everything, because I have 2 kids. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'll get my own place, you get your own place. And then from there, we'll see how it happens. And in my head, we're done. We're over, we're done. So, was I a little wrong? Yeah. I was a little wrong. I should have totally ended it with Steven before I went for this weekend away. So, I mean, nothing was happening sexually between me and Steven. Weren't even kissing, nothing. So, okay. Well, we agree. I'm meeting him there. I'm expecting him to get, well, he switches it to a Saturday, which I was like, oh, wow, good. So I go down early. I go to Smithville, and my stomach is just, oh my God, I'm ready to throw up. And like, okay, well, they turn around and he's like, I was like, all right, he's not there. I'm going to go head to Atlantic City. Well, I no sooner get there and get to the hotel. He's like, I've checked in. This is my room number, whatever. Okay. So I was like, alrighty. And this guy's like zoom in behind me. I don't know if he could see that I'm recording, but I don't fucking care. So you're not impressing me, dude. I don't know if you think you're impressing the woman in the thing. So I was like, okay. So then we go up. I was like, oh, I just got to change my top. And I had a cami on, so I was just changing my top, and changing to high heels because, okay, I wanted to look a little dressy. So we go to dinner. And I mean, he loves to order, he loves to do all this stuff, and I don't know what this guy's doing. So I'm like, okay. So we do all this, and then we go. He's like, oh, let's we went to this place that had some music, and then he's like, all right, let's go gamble a little. And then he's like, okay. And he gets us each a drink and from the waitress. And then he's like, all right, when you're done with that drink, we'll go upstairs. Well, I won on the slot machine. And I downed the drink once he said that. And I was nervous. And I mean, dinner was just fabulous. And we went upstairs, and I took my shoes off and stuff, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm talking to him, and he's in the bedroom, and then, I said, oh, I'm going to brush my teeth, and, change. And I turned around, and next thing I know, he's we're talking and he's walking closer, and next thing you know, he's kissing me. And let me just say, it was off the charts. It was like the best ever. We didn't have to say a word. I think because we talked so much, and our likes, our dislikes, and how I can, say this to Frank because I wasn't used to, saying what I wanted. The ex called me a freak. So all that, it was just amazing. It was like, oh my God. It was just off, like I said, off the charts. And I did end up breaking up with Steven and all that. And him and I did see each other for a while, and then I don't know what happened, but it kind of went back to just friends. And then from there, sorry, my throat. From there, then, different guys, whatever, went on dates and, meetings, whatever you want to call them. Then the next thing you know, ow, my head hurts. I'm like, it's like, we're back into like, oh, let's go to dinner, whatever. And we went to dinner. We stayed overnight. Then he came to my place and we went to dinner, and then he came back. He stayed overnight. My kids were there, which he didn't really like, but my kids knew him as my friend. So, not that I don't know that my kids knew that he stayed over, but he's like, oh, he was a little uncomfortable with that. And it seemed like we were in a relationship again, and then it kind of backed off, and then he's with a girlfriend. So I then poured my heart out to him and said, I fell in love with you. And he was like, oh, it was just what it was. And, and I guess we were kind of like friend with benefits. I was like, no, friend with benefits is like, hey, come over, you have sex and leave. Like, you romanced me. Every time I saw you, it wasn't always, we didn't always have sex. We went out to dinner. We, all the normal stuff, people that are dating. So I was like, okay. So he's like, I'm really sorry. That wasn't my intention. I really don't want, something steady and whatever. So still to this day, we're friends, but we don't talk that much. We don't talk every day like we used to. We talk sometimes not for weeks, but I feel like I can't have a relationship with someone else. One, I'll probably be comparing the sex because with him, like I said, off the charts. And like, my friend is going through this too with some guy that she can't get over. And they're still in touch as friends, and she tries to break it off, and she just tries to not answer him. She's tried blocking him, and then she's like, oh God, did he see? Or he leaves a message on her voicemail, because you can do that even under blocked. And she goes into her blocked messages, and we both say, we got to get over these guys. But how do you get over someone that you're in love with? And I guess it's the same. I mean, me and the ex, there was no love left by the time. And I know this guy cares for me. When my mother died, he was there. When my grandmother died, he was there for me. So I know he cares about me. And I mean, I was in the hospital one time, didn't tell him, with the pneumonia. And he was like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, do you need anything? I'll come by and see you and bring you whatever you need. And then when I said, they're finally cutting me loose, maybe today or tomorrow. Oh, I'll come pick you up. And like, I just can't. How do I get over him? I've tried to not talk to him. And yes, I have that control. So I want to hear from anybody that maybe went through something similar, because I'd like to hear if you got over someone, how you did it. Me and my friend would both benefit from this, because it's just that one person. And he had said to me, because now he's with someone that he's been with for a little bit, for some time. And he's like, you and I, it just never was the right time, the timing just wasn't right. And I'm like, okay, but you haven't been with someone. And then you felt different things. I feel like there were excuses. And I don't know, is he not ready for a commitment? Like, he's really like, I don't even know he's been with this one for a while. Like, he just maybe doesn't see her for periods of time. And she's okay with that. And maybe he feels I couldn't do that, and I don't know that I could. So I'd really love some advice. So how do you get over someone you love, but it's not that they don't love you, but they don't want a relationship with you? You've experienced that they care about you. You've experienced the actions for them. They've dropped everything, work, everything, and come to your side when you needed them. So they care. And it's more than a friend. But is it that they can't commit? And maybe it is, because he's with someone that he doesn't see for weeks at a time. And like, he's okay with that. She's okay with that. I don't know that I could be okay with that. So, I don't know. But I must end this. It's been long enough. I don't know what the guy behind me is doing, but he's making all kinds of weird signals with his fingers and stuff. He had a phone up. I don't know if he was videotaping me videotaping. But I'd like to hear if you've ever loved and lost, and the one that got away. And I feel like if I did things differently when him and I first met, if I knew then what I know now, it might have worked and evolved, maybe not. And all comments welcome. And again, I'd like to hear from someone else that maybe there's somebody that you're like, ugh, that you really care about. I truly, I could say, and I and my friends, we've got to get over these guys. And I know we do. And we just don't have the willpower to ignore them and not talk to them. And when we do ignore them, are you okay? Did anything happen? And he's reached out to my children. Is your mom okay? Like, she's not answering me. And it's like, that's how close we are. Like, he's very close with my children and everything. And two, like, not as close as he is with me, but we're, like I said, we don't talk all the time now. But if I text him and he doesn't answer right away, I'm like, oh, must be busy. I'll wait a week and I'll say, everything okay? Oh yeah, just busy. But if I don't answer him right away, he goes nuts. She okay? Like I said, reach out to my kids. She okay? Is everything all right? Like, I'm worried about her, so I don't know. Does he care, or is it control? I don't know. I really don't. But I'd love to hear your feedback, and I really have to go get this shirt because I'm only around the corner, and get away from this guy who's, I don't know what the hell he's doing behind me. But I really want feedback, and if you have any advice how me and my friend can get over two different guys but similar situations. So, all right, and talk to you later. Thanks for listening.